CJ, the Baboon Goon.
There are some unforgettable names that we have had here at the Chosen Few Fighting Championships. In number 20, we had a guy by the name of Thor Crap. This one, though, is up there as well. His name is CJ Goon, and he is known as the Baboon. Why? Probably because it rhymes. At least that's what I'm hoping. And I tell you what, CJ Goon, in hockey, they call fighters goons. Maybe that is appropriate here for Goon coming to the cage.
It's a fantastic fight name, that's for sure. And then the nickname, the Baboon, he comes out of Rothwell MMA, one of the best gyms in the state. I spoke to Ben Rothwell earlier in the week, and he said he had very high praise for his young fighter. He was excited for this. Ben's actually fighting tonight. Bare Knuckle in Louisiana is making his Bare Knuckle debut. So the gym got split up. In the corner is Cody, the code breaker Lynn, who just came off of a big win. So Rothwell MMA doing big things these days.
Absolutely, as Goon getting the once over right now. We take a look as well at the tail of the tape, and then we'll take a look at his opponent as well.
And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, Mitchel, the Polish Puzzle, Abramczyk.
Mitchel Abramczyk calls himself the Polish Puzzle as he is looking to piece together a victory tonight. Abramczyk fighting out of Primal Gym in Milwaukee, making his way to the cage in a leopard print shirt. You don't see that too often, but whatever works for a fighter, that's looks like he's in great shape coming into this fight as Abramczyk.
Absolutely, the leopard print and the tie-dyed is a staple of the Primal Gym. Scott Seawright, Ben Schultz have built a fantastic gym down there in Milwaukee. He's called the Polish Puzzle, I'm told, because his striking is unorthodox and he's hard to figure out. So it'll be interesting to see. CJ Goon, heavy-handed striker versus someone that, you know, his head might not be there when that punch is supposed to land. I'm excited to see if the puzzle can come out over the Goon.
Abramczyk, a record of 1-1. Goon at 3-2. Someone is going to have a much better record, at least on paper, looking as they go forward, and someone else can either be below 500 or at 500. So a big swing fight for these two Ammies coming up right here. One more check at the tail of the tape, and then we will get the official introduction.
All right, this is the third bout of the evening. Amateur bout, 3 3-minute rounds, brought to you by 106.7 FM, The Zone. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He weighed in at 155 pounds, holds a record of 3 victories against 2 defeats. Fighting out of Kenosha, Wisconsin, representing Rothwell, MMA LCCT, please welcome CJ, the Baboon Goon. Standing across the cage, fighting out of the blue corner. Also weighing in at 155 pounds, holding a record 1 victory against 1 defeat. Fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and representing Primal Milwaukee, Mitchel, the Polish Puzzle, Abramczyk.
I love it when you call somebody unorthodox. I always like watching those fighters fight because you see so many guys that are schooled in such a way that they almost look the same as other fighters, but when you talk about unorthodox, I like to see what that means, and we'll see what we get from the Polish Puzzle right now. Our first look at him here in the Chosen Few cage against Goon, and some striking early on by both fighters as a combination there by Goon. Good right as well as Goon able to drive Abramczyk back, and he is on his back early on, and I think Goon just wants him to get back up and get back to striking again, as Goon looks really capable doing that.
Yeah, no, I think the Polish Puzzle is going to hold an advantage on the ground. Goon may hold an advantage on the feet. Power should go to Goon. You can see he wisely asked the Polish puzzle to stand back up, didn't want to go into the guard. Obviously, they've done their homework as well.
Goon now caught here a little bit in a clinch, but is able to get back out of it and get back to that striking pose that he likes so much. We saw some good kicks, a couple of combinations there from Goon as well. Good right there from Abramczyk, though, as that kind of echoed through the entire arena here. Straight kick and a combination by Goon, who right now seems to be the quicker of the two as a striker.
He seems a little more comfortable on the feet. He's bouncing around. Mitch is more selective in his shots.
Yeah, you could tell guys that have been trained as strikers or boxers, he's constantly moving that head, as you never want to make your head an easy target, and you see him bobbing and weaving it back and forth, whereas Abramczyk's a little bit more steady and his head stays in the same spot. And again, that might be telling of a guy who likes to grapple a little bit more than strike. But Goon definitely moving that head around, and that is the mark of a striker, as now he switches to a bit of a southpaw stance as he's trying to come in side and land a couple against Abramczyk, who's been backpedaling much of this first round.
You know, that's the judges look at that. You know, CJ Goon is holding center cage, forcing Mitch to fight off of his back foot. A little cut under the left eye of CJ Goon.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some damage there to the left eye of Goon, as a bit of a goose egg and some blood coming off. Our first look at some blood here in any of our three fights, as Goon, though, continues, though, from a striking pose, landing some good shots. But obviously, Abramczyk getting a couple shots in of his own, as Goon slips as he went for a high kick and just fell straight on his back, but is quickly up on his feet, and some blood now trickling down the side of the face of Goon.
Mitch has landed some really nice body kicks, and just as I say that, he eats a front kick.
He sure did, right to the midsection that put him back a few feet, as we're inside of 30 seconds for round number one. Good combination again by Goon. But that damager, as he takes another right to that left eye, and that might become a problem here, as he's going to have that checked out at the end of round number one.
Absolutely, and it looked like Mitch is targeting that when he's landing his strikes.
He sure is, and that's a good strategy there, as we will go to the second round. That thing's cut pretty good. The doc might have to come on in and take a look at it as well. Goon and Abramczyk with a lot of good action here in round number one. We'll be back for round number two right after this on TVW. Checking out the replay right now, and Goon, I think, you know, might be better served to stay in a right-handed stance where he can protect that left eye a little bit more. It seems like whenever he goes to a left-handed stance, that's when you see Abramczyk kind of target that left eye, which right now has a pretty good cut over it.
You know, it's hard to tell from our viewpoint exactly where it is. It looked like it was above the eye, just on the almost the eyelid area, which is not an ideal spot to have a cut, because you know that's where when we see fights get stopped is because of the location.
Absolutely. If that blood's coming into the eye, I mean, that means that you can't see out of that one eye. You'd lose depth perception, and you won't see shots coming from that side. It's really dangerous, and that's why you will see a lot of fights stopped because of that. So Goon right now, again, I think he might be best served from a right-handed stance, and why not? He's got a good right hand that he's been able to land on Abramczyk, and now trading blows. Abramczyk goes down. Goon trying to finish him off here with some blows, but Abramczyk weathering it by giving up his back. Hammer blows now from Goon, and Abramczyk in duck and cover mode here, as Goon landed a good shot to start the second round.
Absolutely. Abramczyk back to his feet. He did a good job of covering up and not eating a ton of damage on the ground. Referee Tom, right on top of the action.
Now both fighters break off, but Abramczyk's hands a little bit lower right now, and that mouth is open as sucking for wind. He got caught, and he might have gotten caught again by another right, and again the hands go up and he goes down. Good right hands from Goon. I mean, he throws a heavy right hand. Now using that left, as again Abramczyk just trying to cover up. He's going to have to fight back and show something, otherwise this fight could get stopped. Any fights don't go that long, that's going to do it. Yep, they don't last that long if you can't get out of it is Goon with a backflip right in the center of the cage. If you can't get out of that and show some good, either better defense or fighting back with a couple of shots of your own, those fights are going to get stopped, and it did indeed get stopped here. So Goon with the first finish of the night, and he does it with a flurry of right hands. We'll see how it went down right after this on TVW. Replay here as Goon again landing good right hands, dropped the Polish puzzle a couple of times, and then finishing him off with just a flurry of punches, and then there's that backflip. Didn't quite stick the landing. We'll give him an 8.9. As you got to stick that landing a little bit, but he was excited, and why not? A good win for Goon.
All right, a round of applause for these two fighters. Your referee, Tom Davalis, has called a halt to this contest. 1 minute, 17 seconds of round number 2. Declaring your winner by TKO, CJ the Baboon Goon.
The Baboon Goon improves his record to 4-2 as an amateur as he takes care of the Polish puzzle with a flurry of right hands. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back with our fourth fight. A couple of fighters making their debuts right after this.
Great fight, CJ.